In the previous video, we have started the chapter Natural Resources and Their Use. So let us summarize the part 1 which we have already completed. So in the part 1 we have read that nature is the totality of life, that is biotic and abiotic forms, which will constitute or be a part of the environment. And it is important to note that nature is not created by humans. So when do these natural elements become resources? For any natural element to become a resource, it should be that these elements must be for our human use, for our living, or we create new things from them for our use. Then the natural elements will become a resource. And for an element to be called as a resource, there are three main criteria. The first, it should be technologically accessible. That is, we should have those techniques to extract those elements, and it should be economically feasible. For example, if people are willing to pay 100 rupees for a particular thing, but the extraction of that is costing you 150 rupees, then it is not economically feasible for us to take that mineral out and sell to people. So if it's economically feasible, then only we'll extract it and use it for our purposes. So if it's very expensive, then we don't actually prefer using them and we'll find other alternatives. And it should also be culturally acceptable. That is, people should not feel that it's against their culture. So cutting the trees of sacred groves or cutting sacred trees is against our culture, so it's not culturally acceptable, then it will not become a resource. So nature has two main characteristics. That is, the first one is restoration and the second one is regeneration. Restoration in the sense, once it is damaged, it will be restored to its healthy original state. That is restoration. But regeneration is basically the formation or the generation of new life. These are the two characteristics or features of nature. And then we classified the resources based on their use. The first categorization is based on their uses of the resource. So resources for life, resources for materials, and resources for energy. Resources for life are like air, water, and soil. Resources for materials like from coal to marble, wood, and many other things are the materials which we use. And resources for energy like coal, petroleum, and many more things which are used for generating energy. And the next categorization is based on the replenishment. So the first is the renewable and the non-renewable. Renewable are the natural resources that can be replenished over a period of particular stipulated time, either through the natural process or by human intervention. In any of the ways, it can be replenished. Then it will be renewable. It can be renewed. That is the meaning of renewable. While non-renewable resources are the natural resources that are depleted faster than their rate of formation. So their rate of formation will be less in comparison to how we use them. Then they'll become the non-renewable resources. So the examples of renewable are sunlight, water, wind, and biomass, while the non-renewable resources are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So renewable resources are finite. They are not infinite. But we can say that non-renewable are finite, but we can say that renewable resources are infinite. So, the next topic is the distribution of natural resources. So we know that natural resources are finite. That is, they are limited. So we have to use them wisely. And they are also not evenly placed. So in whole of our country, some place will have more number of natural resources while some places will have less. So it is not evenly placed whole over a place. So due to this, there is a cause of wars among countries, and there will also be disputes among states as well. They will lead to wars among countries, as well as in the states there will be some problems due to the availability of the natural resources. So Normally when we speak, natural resources will attract the industries, because industries mostly work on the natural resources, so these are converted into the products which are useful for the mankind. So natural resources are important. So if a place has ample of natural resources, then there will be the formation of industries around the availability, because if the industries are there near the natural resource, it will be easy for them, because they will be less cost production, the transportation and all these things, factors which will impact for the industries to come in place. So when industries are placed, it will lead to the employment to the local people as well as the people all over the country, the skilled people. Industries will provide employment to a large group of people, and employment, and indirectly it will also lead to economic growth for the state. So even for the government it is beneficial, and for the people. So whole over thing is natural resources are helpful for mankind. So for this, for the purpose of establishing industries and all these things, there will be the displacement of people. So the displacement in the sense, moving the shifting the people from one place to another. So why will they do that? Because for example, if some area is rich in natural resources but people are staying in that area, then they have to make the people to displace from that to construct industries or provide homes to the workers or many other things. So there will be economic growth, and there will be the growth of the place as well. So the displacement of the people is required, but it will also see that there will be disputes when that land is a sacred place or anything like that, because the natural resource is found in some sacred place, then it will not be possible to extract that so easily without the disputes, because there will be emotional connection of people with that thing. So we have to see that as well, and also see that the basic needs of the people shouldn't be changed. So for example, if you see any natural resource in area, it is not that always you'll go and extract it, because it will also impact the common people's life, because they have been living in that area for a whole number of years, for thousands of years. So if you just go once, found a natural resource, and you're trying to move the people from their home, then it will be very problematic. So this is what you have to keep in mind. So the human natural resources plus the human skill will only lead to the proper utilization of these resources. So even though you just have natural resources, it will not mean that it is beneficial to you. You should also have the human skill. There should be the technologies for your extraction and all these things for you to use or utilize these natural resources. So one such example is the wood steel, which is a Damascus steel mostly found in the southern parts of India. It is known for its high carbon content. So it has high carbon content and is mostly found in southern parts of India. You have to remember this. They have mentioned about this especially in your NCERT. And next, nature does not pay attention to the political boundaries. So you already studied that the natural resources are found and they are not evenly placed. So that is what they are saying in this statement. It is important to remember this statement, that nature will not pay attention to the political boundaries. That is, it will not know that this is Karnataka or this is Tamil Nadu, I have to go here, I have to go here. It's not like that. It's found somewhere in a place and it will not see the political boundary, because political boundaries are laid by us humans. It is not God's creation or anything like that. So due to this, conflicts will arise. So one such example cited in your book is the disputes between Karnataka, Kerala, Puducherry and Tamil Nadu for the river Kaveri. For it, the central government had to intervene and the courts have to intervene to make sure that they are properly given to all the places. And next part is the natural resource curse. It is also known as the paradox of plenty. This is what is name given by scientists. So what is it? When there are abundant resources, it will not always imply that you will have economic prosperity. So abundant resources means economic prosperity will be there with the help of resources, either in the form of employment or in economic growth, and all these things are fine. But it is not always for sure that the abundant resources will give rise to economic prosperity. It is not always true. So it is important to remember that it is not always true. Abundant resources will not mean economic growth, because there are various factors for this resource to become money or to become economy for us. So what are the factors? The first is the technology. So if you don't have the skills to extract the resource and you don't have the market value for it, then all these things wouldn't combine together. Then there is no use for you to take the resource with the creating new technology. So if it's worthy to take it, then only we'll try to think about it. So the technology should be there, and there should be the cost effective. So if you are able to sell the product for 150 rupees, but extraction cost itself is becoming some 200 or something, then there's no point in the resource itself. And the next one is the human skill should also be there, and the need of the resource. So if that resource is of no use for us humans at present time, then why will we take it? So if there is a need for it, then only you will take the resource. And next is the value of the resource. So I have already explained that if it's 150 and you extraction cost is 200 or something like that, then there is no point in taking it. So there are many factors which come under play when you wanted this resource to become an economic prosperity for the state. So this phenomenon is what is called the natural resource curse or the paradox of plenty. So you have to remember this, that abundant resource is not always economic prosperity. Next, resource extraction. We have to be mindful that it is sustainable as well. So it is not that you are extracting and it is in a way polluting or it is leading to the depletion in the future. Then we have to be mindful that whatever you're taking, it should be sustainable. That is, we have to keep in mind about the future generations as well. So resource extraction is not just for the present, it's also for the future, because it is our responsibility to give these resources to the future generations as well. It's not just for us, it is for the human generations to come. So we have to be responsible and wise while we are using the natural resources. That is what is stewardship. The job of taking care of something. Something in a sense, here we are referring to the natural resources. Stewardship, that is the job of the taking care of something, that is the natural resources. So we have to act as stewards. Stewards are the ones who are taking care. So it is our responsibility to take care of these natural resources, because it is given for our good. They are present for helping us in a way. So the first is about groundwater. So what is it? NCERT has provided some examples for us. The first one is about groundwater. So the extraction rate has become more than the replenishing rate. Replenishing is a sense, if something is used up, it have to be filled up. So whatever we are using is becoming more in comparison to what it is actually replenishing back, what is coming back. So if 100% is the filling rate, we are using 120%. Then at one point of for now it may be fine, but at one point of time it will become difficult to fulfill this gap, and it will lead to the depletion. We will not find groundwater as well. So we'll see that in the Punjab case as well. So we have to make sure, mindful, that extraction rate is either less or equal to the replenishing rate, because if it's not fixing in what we are using up, then for the future generations it is a problem itself. Next is the use of the chemical fertilizers and pesticides. So this will lead to the soil degradation. So when you are using the chemical fertilizers and pesticides, they'll lead to the soil degradation. So for now it may be fine, but after some time maybe that soil will become infertile, or it will not cope up or help us in growth of the plant. So, and soil degradation will also lead to the pollution of water as well. So these fertilizers will go and mix into the water and into the rivers. So this will also lead to the pollution, and whatever food we are eating will also contain these pesticides and fertilizers. We have to be mindful when we are using these in our crops or farming. So the first case they have cited is about the Punjab case. So what is it? So in Punjab or whole of India, not just for Punjab, to specifically mention about Punjab, but this situation is happening in whole of India. So what is it? Green revolution was introduced. So green revolution is where you have the use of high yielding variety crops which require more water. So why do we started using this high yielding variety? Because the need for food is increasing and the production is less. So by using these high yielding varieties, you get more produce, thereby more crop and more food, and the cost will also reduce. So that was the main idea when they wanted to introduce this green revolution, because the population is increasing and the food is reducing. So when you want more production, so you will use these HIV seeds, but these require more water. That is the first thing. And the second thing is, when modern farming is used, they'll use the chemical fertilizers. So when these chemical fertilizers are used, there will be the pollution of water. So all together, so when there is a pollution of water, that water will not be usable after some time. So what will happen due to both these reasons, that is the use of more water by farmers and also by the chemical fertilizers, there is a decline in the groundwater level. This has happened in Punjab. So for now, they have to go 30 meters underground to find water. So when they are trying to find groundwater, they have to go 30 meters down deep now to find water. So this has happened in Punjab and most of the other states as well. So we have to be mindful when we are using the things. So this is the first case about groundwater. Next is about cement. So cement is one of the most polluting industries. It is one of the most polluting industries. So why is it polluting? Because it will release fine dust, and this will go into the lungs of us and humans, animals, and all these things. So fine particles will actually move into our lungs, which will lead to many respiratory problems for us. And the next thing is, it will settle on the leaves. So if this cement will go and settle on the leaves, then what will happen? There will be stomatal pores on the leaf, so they will be reduced. So the stomatal pores will be there on the leaves, so they will be closed, and after some point of time, the absorption rate of the sunlight will be reduced. Chlorophyll will trap the sunlight, so this capacity will be reduced, thereby the reduce in the yield itself. So there will be less photosynthesis happening, and therefore there will be reduction of yield. So when the cement will settle on the leaves, the production will be less, and it also causes water and soil pollution. So these fine dust particles will go into the soil and water, and it will also cause pollution. So due to all these things, it is stated to be one of the most polluting industries. To undermine this, government has created certain guidelines were set up for the setup of these industries. So they have to make sure that these rules are followed when they are setting up industries. What are these? So they'll either set up away from the place where most of the people are living, away from the societies and all these things, human settlements, and also alternative traditional methods are adopted for building, such as stones, mud, and all these things are alternatively used in place of cement for the construction works. So this is the second thing, that we have to be mindful when we are using the things. So if cement is most pollutant, we have to find alternatives or see the preventive measures to reduce its impact on us, and also see that the future generations are not impacted. So these are all we can learn from this example. And the next case is about Sikkim. So Sikkim has adopted organic farming, and in 2016 Sikkim became 100% organic state, and it has become a role model, and it has also attracted more tourists, because many people are coming to see how the organic farming is done and what is the model they have adopted and all these things. And there is an increase by 20% of farmers' income due to the adoption of organic farming.